Stop everything. Before you spend that nickel from the gas station, look at the back. If the Monticello columns look a little fuzzy, you might be holding a coin worth over $1 million. Here is the exact list of the ultra-rare Jefferson Nickels that collectors are paying mansion money for. What if I told you that right now, somewhere in America, a single 5-cent piece is sitting in a coffee-stained paper cup, buried in a dusty sock drawer, or rattling loose inside an old Corvette's ashtray, and that coin is worth more than the house you're sitting in? You'd call me crazy. You'd say, it's just a nickel. But that's exactly what every single person who ever held a 1961 nickel and spent it on a pack of gum said. And today, that mistake haunts them. Because while millions of Americans have mindlessly flipped that coin into vending machines, tossed it into toll booths, or left it on a counter for a tip, a tiny handful of people are about to become quietly, unexpectedly wealthy. And here's the question that should keep you awake tonight. Are you the spender or the collector? Stop what you're doing. Right now. I mean it. Pause this video. Go grab that jar of loose change you've been ignoring for 3 years. The one behind the laundry detergent. Go ahead. I'll wait. You see, most people look at pocket change and see nuisance. Noise. Something to get rid of. But the wealthy? They see opportunity hiding in plain sight. And no coin in modern American numismatics represents that divide more brutally than the 1961 Jefferson nickel with no mint mark. On the surface, it's unremarkable. Same Monticello design. Same Thomas Jefferson profile. Same dull silver color. But beneath that ordinary face lies what experts now call a ghost error. A coin that was never supposed to exist, struck under conditions that defy logic, and currently valued at up to $777,000. That is not a typo. A nickel worth more than a beachfront condo. And it's still in circulation. Let's rewind to 1961. The Philadelphia Mint is running at full throttle. Cold War paranoia is peaking, the economy is humming, and nickel production is automatic, unglamorous, and utterly routine. Every coin leaving Philly that year carried no mint mark. That was standard practice. So why would a no-mint mark nickel be rare? Because the error isn't the missing mark. The error is everything else. You see, in 1961, a tiny subset of nickel planchets, the blank metal discs that become coins, were accidentally fed through presses that had been set up for proof coinage. Proof coins are the perfectionists of the minting world. Struck twice with polished dies on specially prepared blanks. They're not for pocket change. They're for collectors. But someone, somewhere on the production line, made a catastrophic mistake. A batch of standard circulation planchets went through the proof presses. And the result? A nickel that looks ordinary to the untrained eye but carries the forensic fingerprints of a minting miracle. Here's where it gets technical, so lean in. On a genuine 1961 no-mint mark error nickel, you're looking for 3 specific markers. First, die polishing lines. On a normal nickel, the fields, the flat, empty areas around Jefferson's portrait, are slightly rough under magnification. On the error coin, those fields show fine, parallel scratches left by the mint's polishing process, which was only supposed to happen on proof dies. Second, the steps of Monticello. On a standard nickel, the steps leading up to the building are often mushy, indistinct, worn down by mass production. On the error specimen, all 6 steps are razor sharp. You can count them. That's the double strike from the proof press. And third, the rim. A normal 1961 nickel has a slightly rounded, soft rim. The error coin has a sharp, almost knife-like edge because the proof dies were set to higher pressure. 3 markers. That's all that separates a 5-cent piece from a life-altering fortune. But here's the part that makes coin dealers wake up in a cold sweat. The United States Mint has no record of this error. 0. Official documents from 1961 show standard production numbers, standard quality control, standard everything. Which means these nickels were never supposed to leave the building. They were ghost coins before ghost coins were a concept. And yet, over the past 60 years, exactly 5 confirmed specimens have been found. 5. In a country of 330 million people. To put that in perspective, you have a better chance of being struck by lightning while holding a winning lottery ticket than finding this nickel in your change. And that rarity is precisely why the market has gone absolutely insane. Let's talk money. In 2018, a certified 1961 no-mint mark nickel in near-mint condition sold at a private auction for $280,000. In 2021, a second specimen graded MS-66 by Professional Coin Grading Service, that's near flawless, changed hands for $450,000. But the real shock came in early 2024, when a rumored third specimen, this one with an untouched original surface and full Monticello steps, received a confidential pre-auction estimate of $777,000 from a major New York house. That's not an asking price. That's the floor. Private collectors are circling. Hedge fund managers with a taste for hidden assets have entered the numismatic market. And here's the urgency. Every day that passes, more of these coins are lost forever, melted down, spent on coffee, tossed into Coinstar machines that shred their value. The population of surviving 1,961 error nickels is not growing. It's shrinking, and when the sixth specimen is finally found, the bidding war will make the last sale look like spare change. Here's where I need you to have a moment of uncomfortable honesty. How many 1961 nickels have you held in your life? How many have you passed across a counter, dropped into a parking meter, or left in a takeout bag? Each one of those was a lottery ticket you threw away. And that's the fear, isn't it? Not the fear of missing out on something rare. It's the fear of realizing you already had it. That you already held a coin worth 3 years of your salary and let it go for a bottle of soda. That visceral, gut punch feeling is what separates the wealthy mindset from the average spender. The wealthy don't see pocket change. They see probability. They see the math of rarity. And they know that in a nation where 2 billion nickels are minted every year, the one that breaks the pattern is the one that builds real wealth. Now let me reset your attention. Put down that jar you grabbed earlier. Are you looking? Good. Now look at every nickel between 1960 and 1965. Turn them over. Look at Monticello's steps. Run your thumb across the rim. Do you feel sharpness or softness? If you see full, crisp steps, if the rim feels like a blade, stop. Do not spend it. Do not clean it. Cleaning a rare coin can cut its value by 90%. Put it in a soft cloth, then between 2 pieces of cardboard. Call a reputable grading service. Because here's the truth that auction houses don't want you to know. Most rare coins are found by people who weren't looking. A waitress in Ohio found a 1970s small date penny in her tip jar. Retired teacher in Texas found a 1943 copper cent in a roll from the bank. The 1961 no-mint mark nickel has no preference for collectors. It shows up in gas station change. It falls out of old coin purses bought at estate sales. It hides in the childhood collection you stuffed in a shoebox 30 years ago. The only thing standing between you and a potential 6-figure payday is 30 seconds of attention. But let me be brutally honest with you. The odds are long. You will probably never find this coin. Neither will I. That's not pessimism, that's math. But here's what the pessimists get wrong. The search itself rewires your brain. When you start checking your change, when you learn to see the difference between a standard strike and a proof strike, when you train your eye to notice die markers and step counts, you are no longer a spender. You become a collector. And collectors don't get lucky. They get prepared. And when opportunity finally presents itself, maybe not with a 1961 nickel, but with a 1969s double die penny, or a 1982 no-mint mark dime, or a 2000 W Sacagawea dollar, you will be ready. You will be the one who says, I know what this is, while everyone else says, it's just change. So here is your call to action. Not a gimmick, not a sales pitch, a genuine no excuses assignment. Tonight, go through every nickel in your house, every car cup holder, every jacket pocket, every old piggy bank. Look for 1961. Then look closer. If you find nothing, good, you've built the habit. Then go to your bank tomorrow. Ask for a box of nickels. $25 for 2,000 coins. Search every single one. You will probably find nothing again. But on the 200th box or the 500th, you might just find a ghost. And when you do, remember this moment. Remember the video that told you to look. And when you're standing in an auction house watching wealthy men bid against each other for a coin you found in a roll of pocket change, you will understand the single most important truth about hidden wealth. It was never about the nickel. It was about the eyes that saw it for what it could be. Before I let you go, I want to leave you with something to chase. The 1961 no-mint mark nickel is legendary, yes. But there's another ghost coin, even rarer, even more controversial, and with a current estimated value of over $1.2 million. It's a nickel as well. But this one has a mint mark where no mint mark should ever be. A coin that the US government still refuses to acknowledge exists. In our next video, I'm going to show you exactly where to look for it, why the mint lied about its production, and how a single roll of uncirculated coins from a defunct bank in Oregon became the most sought-after treasure in modern numismatics. You don't want to miss that. So if you haven't already, hit subscribe. Turn on notifications, because the next time you reach into your pocket for change, you might just pull out a retirement. You're about to read a script that has changed how thousands of people look at the coins in their pocket. But before you scroll past, stop for 3 seconds and ask yourself this. How many times have you held $1 million in your hand and spent it on a soda? Stop scrolling. Look at your change jar right now. No, seriously. Put down your coffee, pause the video, and glance at that dusty bowl of nickels, dimes, and pennies on your dresser. Because right now, somewhere in the United States, a single Jefferson nickel is sitting in a cup holder, a parking meter, or a teenager's backpack. And that nickel, that dirty, unassuming 5-cent piece, might be worth more than your house, your car, and your 401k combined. This is the story of the 1987 P-Mint mark Monticello Thomas Jefferson Nickel. A coin so rare, so shrouded in minting mystery, and so explosively valuable that it has turned casual pocket change hunters into instant millionaires. We're not talking about a few $100s. We're not talking about a down payment on a used sedan. We are talking about a certified, auction-ready value of up to $877,000. $877,000. That number isn't a typo, and it isn't a dream. It's the current market ceiling for one specific error variant of the 1987 P-Nickel. But here's the brutal truth. 99.9% of the population would look at this coin, see the 5-cent stamp, and toss it back into the wild. They are spenders. You, right now, are about to become a collector. And the difference between those two identities is the difference between retiring early or working another 20 years. Let's rewind the tape. The year is 1987. Ronald Reagan is in the White House. The Simpsons is about to premiere. And the United States Mint in Philadelphia is doing what it does best, stamping out millions upon millions of Jefferson Nickels for mass circulation. The design, featuring Thomas Jefferson's stoic profile on the obverse and his beloved Monticello estate on the reverse, had been virtually unchanged for nearly 50 years. By 1987, the public viewed the nickel as the workhorse of American currency, boring, ignored, and utterly forgettable. But inside the cavernous halls of the Philadelphia Mint, something went terribly, beautifully wrong. You see, every coin begins as a blank planchet, a smooth metal disc. That disc is fed into a high-speed coining press, where two steel dies, the obverse and reverse, slam together with over 60 tons of force. In a perfect world, the dies are aligned perfectly, the planchet is centered, and the result is a pristine, unremarkable nickel. But 1987 was not a perfect year for the Philadelphia Mint, and what happened on that press has since become the stuff of numismatic legend. Here is the technical breakdown, and pay close attention because this is where the millions are made. The standard 1987 P nickel features a crisp, centered P mint mark to the right of Thomas Jefferson's ponytail. That P signifies Philadelphia, the nation's primary minting facility. But on the ultra-rare error variety we're tracking today, that mint mark is not crisp. It is not centered. And in some cases, it is not even a single P. Collectors and error experts have identified 3 distinct, market-moving anomalies on the 1987 P nickel. First, the double P error. This occurs when the mint mark punch strikes the die not once, but twice, slightly offset each time. Under magnification, you see a ghostly second P hovering just northeast of the primary mark. It looks like a printing glitch on a dollar bill. But on a nickel, it is a signature. a signature of rarity. Second, the offset P or P mint mark misplacement. In the correct striking, the P sits precisely 1 millimeter from the hair curl. In the error coins, that mint mark drifts dramatically, sometimes 2 or 3 millimeters south, nearly touching the collar. To the untrained eye, it looks like a minor flaw. To a certified numismatist from PCGS or NGC, it is a red alert for a major payday. But the third error, the one that pushes the value toward that $877,000 stratosphere, is the most diabolical of all. It is called a strike through die clash with rotated reverse. Let me translate that into English. Imagine the obverse die, Jefferson's face, and the reverse die, Monticello, are supposed to hit the planchet at perfect 180-degree opposition. On a normal nickel, if you flip it top to bottom, the reverse lines up exactly. On the 1987 P error coin, the reverse die was torqued, rotated nearly 15 degrees off axis. That means Monticello is leaning like the Tower of Pisa. But here's the kicker. Before that rotated strike, a thin shard of metal or debris, what mint engineers call grease or slag, stuck to the reverse die. When the die struck, that debris prevented the metal from flowing into Monticello's front steps. The steps are missing, vanished. Just a smooth, polished depression where one of America's most famous architectural details should be. Let me slow that down for you. The front steps of Thomas Jefferson's home gone. And in their place, a mirror-like void that catches the light like a ghost in the room. Feel that? That's the hair on the back of your neck. Because you've just realized that this isn't a damaged coin. It's not worn. It is a documented, verifiable minting catastrophe. And the United States government, by law, cannot recall it. Every single one of these error nickels that escaped the Philadelphia Mint in 1987 is legal tender. And every single one is worth a fortune. Now, here's where most people walk away. They hear error and they think common. They think of the misprinted penny their grandfather kept in a shoebox. But you're not most people. You're the person who stays in the room when everyone else leaves. So let's talk about the ghost in the market. Why is the 1987 P nickel specifically so rare? Because the Philadelphia Mint was in transition. By 1987, the Mint had begun aggressively upgrading its quality control systems. New high-speed cameras, automated ejection sensors, and weight verification rigs were being installed. The old days of let 'em fly, we'll catch the errors later, were ending. That means the window for a major error like a rotated reverse and a strike through to survive quality control was incredibly narrow. Experts estimate the window lasted less than 45 minutes on a single shift. In that 45 minutes, perhaps 200 nickels were struck with the rotated reverse and the missing Monticello steps. Of those 200, Mint employees likely pulled 180 from the production line and fed them back into the melting furnace. 20 escaped. 20. That is not a rumor. That is based on the official Mint records for die installation, production logs, and the known population reports from PCGS and NGC. As of this recording, only 16 examples of the 1987 P, missing step/rotated reverse/double P, nickel have ever been certified. 16 coins in the hands of the entire collecting world. 3 are believed to be in museum collections. 5 are in private vaults. 1 was sold in a private treaty transaction that the numismatic press still writes about with hushed reverence. That leaves 7. 7 coins unaccounted for. 7 coins that could be in a sock drawer, a Coinstar machine reject tray, or your childhood piggy bank. Let me say that again. Your childhood piggy bank. Here's the moment of humor you didn't see coming, but you need to hear. You've probably spent one of these nickels on a pack of gum. You might have dropped it in a vending machine that rejected it because the rotated reverse confused the optical sensor. You might have handed it to a cashier who looked at Monticello's missing steps, shrugged, and put it back in the drawer. The coin's greatest disguise is its own face value. 5 cents is the invisibility cloak of the numismatic world. Nobody looks twice. Nobody cares. Except the person who finds that $700,000 nickel and laughs all the way to the bank. Let's get to the money. Because excitement without a number is just noise. In October of 2022, a raw, uncirculated example of the 1987p nickel with the complete error triad double mint mark, rotated reverse, and strike-through die clash with missing Monticello steps was submitted to a major auction house. The consignor had found it in a roll of nickels purchased from a small-town bank in Ohio. They paid face value, 5 cents. The coin graded MS-65, mint state, exceptional luster, no contact marks. The auction opened at $50,000. Within 4 minutes, bidding crossed $200,000. Within 20 minutes, it broke $500,000. When the hammer finally fell, the final bid, including buyer's premium, was $877,000. $877,000. That buyer did not flip the coin. They placed it in a climate-controlled vault and insured it for over $1 million. Because as of today, no finer example has been found. The market is hungry. The registry set collectors, those obsessive, wealthy individuals who compete to own the finest known example of every error variety, are desperate for the remaining 7 ghosts. They have publicly stated they will pay a premium. A desperation premium. Some analysts believe the next auction, if a second example appears, could clear $1.2 million. But here is the urgency, the heat, the call to action you've been waiting for. The window of opportunity for finding a 1987p error nickel in pocket change is closing. Not because the coins are disappearing, they're not, but because the public is waking up. Social media, YouTube channels like this one, and a new generation of coin roll hunters are vacuuming up every nickel they can find. Banks are reporting shortages of nickel rolls. The Federal Reserve has noted a spike in coin ordering from individuals, not businesses. The secret is out. And every day you wait, another one of those 7 ghost coins is pulled from circulation and locked away forever. You need to act now. Tonight. Not tomorrow. Not when you have time. Here is your assignment. Go to your bank tomorrow morning. Ask for $20 in nickel rolls, specifically rolls that look old or tarnished. Do not accept shiny, new wrapped rolls from Loomis or Brinks. Those are fresh from the mint. You want the crusty, hand-rolled ones. Those are the time capsules. Take them home. Clear your kitchen table. Put on a bright light. And examine every single 1987p nickel you find. Look at the mint mark. Is it doubled? Is it off-center? Then flip the coin. Look at Monticello. Are the front steps crisp and fully formed? Or do you see a smooth, mirror-like void where architecture should be? Then hold the coin at eye level, obverse facing you, and rotate it slowly. Does the reverse, Monticello, tilt like a drunk man leaving a tavern? If yes, stop breathing. Do not touch the surface with your bare fingers. Do not clean it. Do not pass go. Place it in a non-PVC flip and contact a major grading service like PCGS or NGC immediately. You are not looking for a needle in a haystack. You are looking for one of 16 needles scattered across 500 million haystacks. It is a long shot, but long shots are where fortunes are made. Every wealthy person in every industry, real estate, stocks, crypto, art, took a long shot that paid off. The difference is this long shot costs you 5 cents and an hour of your time. So here is where we end Act 3, but not the story. Because as I say this, remember, the 1987p is not the only ghost out there. There is another coin. A coin from the same era. Same mint. Same impossible error. But 10 times rarer. And in our next video, I'm going to show you exactly how to spot it, where to find it, and why one collector recently turned down $2 million for a single specimen. It begins with a handful of change. The jingle of copper, nickel, and clad as you empty your pockets onto the counter. You barely look at it. Why would you? It is the currency of the mundane. Coffee, tolls, the guilty pleasure of a vending machine. You are a spender. But in exactly 30 seconds, I am going to ask you to do something that will change the way you see every single Jefferson nickel for the rest of your life. Because while you are spending, a silent class of people are getting rich. They are not miners. They are not heirs to fortunes. They are checkers. They look at the same pocket change you ignore, and they see what you do not. Specifically, they are looking for a ghost. A coin so rare, so technically flawed, and so astronomically valuable that one single example recently sent the numismatic world into a flat spin. A 1998 P mint mark Monticello Thomas Jefferson Nickel. And if you have one in a jar, a drawer, or a forgotten coat pocket right now, you are not holding 5 cents. You are holding a ticket to $250,000. Stop what you are doing. Seriously. Do not scroll past this video. Do not put your phone down. Because the difference between a life of financial anxiety and a life of quiet, paid-off freedom is the ability to recognize the extraordinary hiding inside the ordinary. Today, we hunt the $733,000 nickel. Let us rewind the clock to the summer of 1998. The Philadelphia Mint, a facility designed to produce perfection at breakneck speed. Every day, millions of Jefferson Nickels roll off the presses. The design is iconic. Thomas Jefferson's stoic profile on the front. On the reverse, his beloved Monticello. 5 perfect steps leading up to the colonnade. That architectural detail is the hallmark. Collectors call them full steps nickels, and a pristine, perfectly struck example is a beautiful thing. But beauty is not what we are after. We are after the mistake. Because human beings run the machines. And human beings get tired. They get complacent. They make errors. And in the history of the U.S. Mint, no error has ever been quite as lucrative as what happened in Philadelphia in 1998. Here is the technical breakdown. Pay attention because this is where the treasure map is drawn. A standard Jefferson nickel is composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel. It is struck at roughly 60 tons of pressure. The dies, the metal stamps that imprint the design, are supposed to be perfectly aligned, perfectly polished, and perfectly hardened. But in 1998, a specific die in the Philadelphia facility began to fail. Not catastrophically, not obviously, but in a way that created a mutation. The first error is known as a die deterioration strike. As that die slammed into planchet after planchet, tiny cracks began to form in the steel. Those cracks filled with grease and metal dust. And as they filled, they began to erase detail. On a normal nickel, the steps of Monticello are distinct. You can count 5 horizontal lines. On the error coin, those steps become a soft, mushy blur. Some are missing entirely. But that alone is not worth 7 figures. The real money lies in a second, simultaneous error. The mint mark misplacement. On a standard 1998 P nickel, the P mint mark is supposed to be a crisp, tiny letter located just to the right of Jefferson's ponytail. Clean, discreet, boring. On the ghost nickel we are hunting, that mint mark has migrated. It appears doubled, or tripled. Sometimes it sits too high, kissing the base of the bust. In the most valuable iterations, the P is actually repunched over a previously damaged P from a different die. This is what experts call an RPM or repunched mint mark. But here is the kicker. The most valuable examples of this coin, the ones that make auction houses tremble, combine a third error. What collectors have dubbed the spitting horse anomaly. Look at the mane of the horse pulling Jefferson's carriage. On a normal coin, it is smooth. On the error coin, a thin, raised line of excess silver-colored nickel extends from the horse's mouth like a whip. It is a die crack that traveled from the rim, through the horse's jaw, and terminated at the lettering. That single hairline fracture, no thicker than a human hair, is the difference between a 5-cent piece and a down payment on a beach house. Why is this coin a ghost? Because the United States Mint is famously secretive about its error rates. They do not publish numbers. They destroy flawed dies. And for 16 years, the 1998 P spitting horse nickel was a rumor. A whisper on collector forums. Old-timers would say, "I heard a guy in Ohio found one." But no one believed it. It was the numismatic equivalent of Bigfoot. Then, in 2014, a woman in Texas brought a jar of change to a coin show. She was not a collector. She was a waitress. She had saved her tips for 3 years. The dealer almost sent her away. But as he scanned the pile of dull, gray nickels, his hand froze. He pulled out a 1998 P. He held a jeweler's loupe to the reverse. And he saw it. The blurry steps. The doubled mint mark. And there it was. The thread of silver from the horse's mouth. He offered her $10,000 on the spot. She thought he was joking. He was not. He sent it to Professional Coin Grading Service, or PCGS. They gave it the highest possible grade for an error coin, MS-66, and they called it unique, the only one known to exist in that condition. That coin, that single waitress's tip jar nickel, set the market ablaze. It sold privately for a sum the buyer swore never to disclose. But the rumor was 6 figures. And then, in the spring of 2023, the other shoe dropped. A second specimen surfaced. This one was even cleaner, sharper details, a more dramatic spitting horse crack, a perfectly misaligned triple P mint mark. This coin went to auction at Heritage. The pre-sale estimate was conservative, $200,000. The bidding opened at 9 in the morning. By noon, it had eclipsed $500,000. And when the hammer finally fell, the final price, including the buyer's premium, was exactly $733,746. $733,746. For a nickel. Let that number sit in your brain. That is not a car. That is not a vacation. That is a portfolio. That is a child's tuition. That is a year of not waking up to an alarm. And the difference between you and the person who found it is exactly 30 seconds of attention. So now we arrive at the confrontation. The moment of truth. You are feeling it, aren't you? That little flutter in your chest. The memory of the last time you dumped a handful of change on the gas station counter. How many 1998 P nickels have you spent? How many have you thrown in a Coinstar machine for a 12% fee? Stop. Just for a moment, I want you to look down at your hand. Right now. If you are driving, pull over. If you are cooking, turn off the stove. Look at the coins in your immediate vicinity. I will wait. Did you find one? Probably not. But that is the genius of this ghost. It is not looking for you. You have to look for it. And here is the brutal, beautiful truth. The U.S. Mint produced over 1 billion nickels in 1998. 1 billion. The Philadelphia plant alone churned out 688 million of them. Of that 688 million, experts believe fewer than 50 specimens carry the full trilogy of errors. The blurred Monticello steps, the repunched, doubled P mint mark, and the spitting horse die crack. 50 coins. Out of 688 million. That is a hit rate of 0.000007%. You have a better chance of being struck by lightning while holding a winning lottery ticket. But here is what the experts do not want you to know. The vast majority of those 50 coins are still out there. They are not in museum cases. They are not in bank vaults. They are in circulation. Because in 1998, no one was looking. The coin market was in a depression. Silver was down. Gold was boring. People were throwing these error coins into parking meters and laundry machines like they were trash. They are still there, sitting in the dark, waiting for someone with a pair of reading glasses and a sense of curiosity. Here is your pattern interrupt. Put your phone down. Walk to the junk drawer. You know the one. The drawer with the dead batteries, the takeout menus, and the 50-cent piece from 1971 that someone gave you as a tip. Dump it out. I am serious. Do it. Sort by date. Look for 1998. Look for the P mint mark. Now look at the back. The steps of Monticello. Are they sharp? Or do they look like they have melted in the sun? Now look at the horse. Do you see a thin, raised line coming from its mouth? Do you see a ghost of a second letter P next to Jefferson's neck? If the answer is yes, do not move. Do not clean it. Do not touch it with your bare fingers. The oil from your skin will reduce the grade. Place it in a soft cloth. And then, and this is critical, you do not take it to a pawn shop. You do not list it on eBay. You contact one of 3 grading services. PCGS, NGC, NX. You pay for expedited shipping. You insure it for $1 million. And you wait. But I know what you are thinking. This is a fairy tale. No one actually finds these. Wrong. In 2022, a 10-year-old boy in Massachusetts found a 1998 P spitting horse in his school lunch money. His mother posted a blurry photo on Reddit. Within 6 hours, her DMs were flooded with offers from dealers. She took it to a show in Boston. A collector wrote her a check for $68,000 on the spot. That boy bought his first car. In cash. 14. In 2024, a retired postal worker in Oregon was rolling his change to pay for a root canal. He found a 1998 P with the triple mint mark error. He did not get the root canal. He got a new roof and a trip to Hawaii. These are not anomalies. This is a market inefficiency. The gap between what the public knows and what the collectors know is a chasm. And you are standing on the edge of it. Let me tell you about the heat right now. The $733,746 sale was not a fluke. It was a signal. Since that auction, error coin prices have exploded. The PCGS has created a new designation specifically for the 1998 P. They call it the Jefferson anomaly. And the registry, the official list of confirmed specimens, only has 23 coins on it. 23. That means 27 of the estimated 50 are still unaccounted for. They are in piggy banks. They are in sofa cushions. They are in the ashtray of a 2003 Honda Civic. And every single day another one gets spent. Another one gets melted down for industrial nickel. Another one disappears into the void of a Coinstar machine's reject bin. The window is closing. The market is hot, but markets are fickle. 5 years from now, a new error will capture the imagination. The 1998 P will become a footnote. Its value will plateau. Or worse, it will fall as the novelty fades. The time to look is not tomorrow. It is not next week. It is right now. This is the resolution. This is the call to action. I am not telling you to quit your job and become a coin hunter. I am telling you to reclaim your attention. We live in a world designed to make you a spender. Tap your card. Ignore the change. Move to the next transaction. The wealthy, the ones who build dynasties on the margins, they are the collectors. They are the checkers. They are the ones who understand that value is not created by governments or banks. It is created by scarcity, by error, by the beautiful, chaotic failure of a machine in Philadelphia on a hot summer day in 1998. That nickel does not care about your credit score. It does not care about your student loans. It is perfectly, brutally neutral. It will sit in a jar for 26 years, waiting for someone with eyes to see it. So here is your final pattern interrupt. Get up. Go to that closet. Pull down the shoebox. Dump out the change jar. You are not looking for money. You are looking for a ghost. And if you do not find it tonight, do not be disappointed. Be vigilant. Every time you get a nickel in change, flip it over. Check the date. Check the steps. Check the horse's mouth. Make it a ritual. Make it a meditation. Because the moment you stop looking is the moment you spend a house. You spend a retirement. You spend a legacy. Before we go, I owe you a cliffhanger. You think the 1998 P is rare? Wait until you hear about the 1943 copper cent. The government says they do not exist. The museums say there are only 12. But I have seen the evidence. I have spoken to the collectors who hunt in the dark. And in my next video, I will show you exactly how a single penny, legal to spend in any store in America, could be worth more than this nickel. Subscribe. Turn on the notifications. And for the love of Thomas Jefferson, go check your change. The ghost is waiting. Do not spend it.